Good, Captain.
I call this regular meeting of the Mexico City Council to order.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Lesh,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Williams.
First item is the approval of minutes, November 14th, 2016, regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Lesh,
Yes.
First item under other business, staff report, purchase of a 1.5 ton pickup truck for the wastewater division. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, we will turn to Kenzie Russell to cover the details.
This is a budgeted item for the wastewater department. $28,000 was budgeted. With trade-in, our net cost for a Chevrolet Silverado is $24,108, so we're within budget. Our trade-in is a 2009 Chevrolet Silverado.
Easy for you to say.
2500 pickup. We are downsizing a little bit here from the heavier truck to standard pickup truck. We found that for our operations, we didn't need the heavier truck, and so that's the reason we're recommending that the purchase be done. We only received one bid from Pearls. Don't really know why. We did send out a number of requests to other dealers. However, this is the state contract bid, and so it was a competitively bid price when it went on the state contract. We would be making the purchase through Pearl Motor.
The old one had a Tommy lift, the new one not, or not
The
needed?
new one does have a Tommy lift as well, yes.
I missed it.
I don't know how important this is in terms of paperwork and support for this, but we did not budget a 2016 Chevrolet 1500 Silverado. We budgeted a half-ton pickup.
Half-ton pickup, which is
Yeah.
what this is.
So, but in the wording up here, it says we budgeted that.
It allows for the purchase of a half-ton pickup.
Yeah, I went and looked that up. I thought, well, we would never specify what kind of pickup. Hopefully, the bid didn't go out that way.
No, it did not.
I move we purchase this Chevrolet 1500 Silverado half-ton pickup with Tommy lift from Pearl Motor Company for a trade difference of $24,108.
I'll second on that Silverado.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Lesh,
Yes.
Next item, staff report, purchase of skate park equipment for the Parks and Recreation Department. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor, this is to replace existing equipment at Plunkett Park. To cover the details, we'll turn to Chad Shoemaker.
Thank you, Bruce. Good evening. The 2016-17 annual budget allows $52,000 for the purchase and installation of steel skate park equipment to replace the existing equipment at Plunkett Park. The specified equipment is manufactured by the same provider as the original equipment. As you guys know, we've been piecemealing this out, and it was about the only way we could do it was to go back to the original manufacturer. This will complete the changeover from the old equipment to the new equipment. I don't expect there to be any further skate park expenses in the next 5 to 8 years of any consequence. We may need a new grinding rail here or there, but that would be some concrete occasionally. So that said, we recommend the council approve the purchase of replacement skate park equipment for American Ramp Company of Joplin, Missouri for the bid price of $49,101.11.
I have a question. Is this all of these items we're purchasing?
No, if you look at the other piece you have that has the pink and the blue.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
If you want to get to the same page here. So if you look at the pink and the blue diagram, all of the pink pieces have already been replaced. The blue ones are the ones that are being replaced this year. Did you not? you've got this, Ron.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I do have it, but
So you want me to?
I'm trying to figure out what the 50 by 32 is in relation to this.
So these pink pieces, these blue pieces here go on the end of the half pipe. And then this large piece in the middle is the other piece here.
Yeah, okay. So they go on the end of this piece.
Yeah, when we put that in, we knew that we would eventually have to add some width and a higher drop-in for that piece to be able to be fully used.
Okay, thank you.
Can't wait till we get it in.
You do a lot of...
Every day.
Yeah, let us know when you're out there, we'll get some video, put it on the website.
Make a motion, we purchase the skate park equipment.
Second.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Ash,
Yes.
Okay. Next on the agenda, appointments to various boards and commissions. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor, we have 3 different boards this evening, the first being the Mexico Tourism Commission. Kathy Lewis's term has expired. She would like reappointment. We have not received any other applications. This would be for a 3-year term, which would expire in September of 2019. This would be a council appointment. If you would so choose to reappoint her, we would need a motion.
I move to appoint Kathy Lewis for a 3-year term expiring 2019 to the Mexico Tourism Commission.
Second.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Ash,
Yes.
The next one would be the Industrial Development Authority. Heather Dement's term expires October 2016. She would like a reappointment. We have not received any other applications expressing any interest in serving on the commission. This would be for a 6-year term, which would expire in July of 2022. If council would wish to reappoint her, we need a motion.
I move we appoint Heather Dement to the Industrial Development Authority for a 6-year term expiring July 2022.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Ash,
Yes.
The next board is the Mexico Housing Authority. Christine Miller's term expired June of 2016. She has also expressed interest in reappointment. We have not received any other applications. This would be for a 4-year term expiring in June of 2020. This is a mayor's appointment to make the recommendation.
I ask the council to concur with my appointment of Christine Miller to the Mexico Housing Authority.
Second.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Ash,
Yes.
The next item is the claims.
Move we approve.
Second.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Ash,
Yes.
That brings us to comments. First council comments, Councilman Lesh.
Yes, I'd like to just say I thought the newsletter, the fall newsletter was very informative. Had a lot of really good information in here, a lot of things that I didn't even know about, so I was very informative, and I think that's good good for the citizens of Mexico to be able to see what is going on and what they can and can't do in our community. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Nichols.
I also took mine to work, and I think everybody I worked with picked that, read it, so it's a good thing. That's all I have.
Same thing, I got mine, it's pretty good information. I'd also like to say that Shop Small Saturday, I hope was a great success for the downtown merchants, and encourage everybody to shop small when they're thinking about Christmas.
Just a couple things, Your Honor. I received on Wednesday a notice from the Municipal League that a federal judge issued a preliminary injunction blocking the Fair Labor Standards overtime rules. As you know, that was set to go into effect December 1. We have, of course, made all of our changes at the city already to prepare for this. Therefore, we don't anticipate taking any other action at this time. We don't know what the appeals court will do with it, or even if the new president will deal with it. So at this point, we've made the changes. We're staying status quo, waiting to see what happens. But anyway, that was done. I don't know what that ultimately means for a lot of people at this point, but because I think most people have already made the changes in preparation for the December 1 deadline. But anyway, that's there. Secondly, I'm going to ask Chad to give you just a little bit of an update on some pool issues. We have, upon closing the pool this year, there grout that is around the gutter system. It was failing in a number of spots, and so we had to look at doing some work on that in order to keep it operational for a couple of years. So I thought it was important that Chad kind of cover some of the things that we're doing. It's all going to be under 10,000, so it'll be basically a staff position that we'll move forward with it under budget terms, but we just thought it was a good idea to give you a little update on what's going on there.
Before we get to that, excuse me, Chad, on the federal guidelines, you said we have everything in place. Does that mean that we're going to follow those guidelines?
We're going to continue with the changes we've implemented, because we had to change a couple of people back to, I think it was 3 staff people total, back to overtime as far as subject to overtime. We're going to leave it in that category at this point. We'll just monitor where we're at with that. So. We're at the point we just don't feel we want to keep changing them back and forth and jerking them back and forth till this is permanently decided.
Let's see. Okay. Go ahead, Chad.
So, to nobody's great surprise, we've been talking about this grout underneath the gutter for a long time. We've been patching it for quite a few years. When we drained the pool this year and the water came out, we noticed there were significant patches that had failed as the summer went. And then within a couple weeks of the pool being dry, we had another kind of significant fall. We ended up with about 175 lineal feet of patching needed, and that's just frankly more than our people are capable of undertaking and or qualified to fill. Some of them were probably as long as the council desk up there. So we went out and we talked to quite a few masons and brought them in and had them look at it, and everybody pretty much agreed that what needed to be done to get us through a few years is simply to do what we call repoint a portion of the grout underneath the gutter. Some of it we think is fine. They're going to test that as they go through. The mason that actually comes in to do the work will define that 175 lineal feet. There may be another foot or two here, another foot or two there as they get to the ends of some of these patches. So we expect the total job to cost $5,789. It's $5,789. They should be here in the next couple weeks to get this done, so there's plenty of time to cure that we can put paint on in the spring. And to the average pool goer, they won't know that there's anything different than done. It'll look just exactly like it did before. I would say that we're probably not done with this particular issue yet. As time goes by, we may have to come back to these people in the future, depending on how long it is before we get a different facility in place. So, just FYI for everybody. Any questions about that?
Is that something that's periodically have to be done on most pools?
No. This would be a artifact of a poor design choice when this pool was built, if that's a fair thing to say. This is not an arrangement you normally see. You don't normally see 2 inches of grout underneath a gutter like what we have. We may have the only one. So, frankly.
Well, that makes it really
Really?
Anything else, Mr. Tony?
That's all I have to think.
That's a good idea.
Sure. I also thought the newsletter was excellent. It came to my attention the last week or so that there was a concern about who sponsors and who provides the Christmas or holiday parade. Christmas parade, I'll say it, not PC. And I understand that certain sponsors in the past have decided they no longer want to do that and so forth. I'm wondering if this would be a good opportunity for the city to sponsor this on a regular basis.
Okay. Well, I guess you'd say we're not really sponsoring the event. I mean, we are covering it through insurance.
Yes, I understand that.
It has typically been a VSA sponsored.
Used to be.
Please say, and then it was the Downtown Decorating Committee, I think, took over
Right.
that, and I think they are now somewhat defunct, to my knowledge.
Well, I think that it's important for this community to have this holiday parade. Now, this is just my thoughts, and I'll share them with you, and you can do with them as you wish. But I would like to see the city look into sponsoring this parade in conjunction with whomever else, but the city be ultimately responsible for sponsoring it year to year. I would like to see it publicized to other communities, to get churches and service groups and so forth involved. I think we lose track of things that are important. And while Santa Claus hanging on the back of a fire truck may not be important, I think it is important for this community to have things like this. And I think it will help the downtown merchants. I think it will reflect well upon the city. And I would sure like to see the city take that over on a permanent basis.
Who's operating it this year?
Well, technically, I suppose we are.
Well, we are a sponsor as far as insurance is concerned, and basically, that's insuring what happens on our streets and our sidewalks. It does not provide insurance for someone that has an entry into like a float or something in the parade. If they should get out of line and hurt a bystander or do something that creates an injury situation. Typically, you do see either a city or a chamber of commerce or another local organization to organize the parade. Because society has become more litigious, insurance companies are being much more stringent and strict on what they have requirements. They want to see proof of valid driver's license for everybody that's in the parade. They want to proof of age. They will require that candy be handed out, not tossed. There would be a lot of requirements that we could certainly fulfill, but just want to let council know, with the city taking over, it will be more I's and T's dotted and crossed than before. Because we just can't put the city's coffers up for lots of different seats. It's a shame that happens, that has happened. It's just a step we'd have to certainly go through in organizing the event.
Well, I think that everything you said, I truly believe is correct. But there are some things in this life that the city should be expected to do. And when we don't, because of having to pay for one day's $3 million insurance, liability insurance, when we don't because, well, we just don't want to do it or we want somebody else to do it, I think that reflects back on us. And I think that this is something that the community needs. This is just my opinion again. I'm not speaking for the council by any means. But I just feel like it's something that we need to look at. This year's taken care of as far as I know. And I know it would be a tough job to try to get everything organized and get the information out, but I would like to see it. And I suppose, and I don't know the answer to this, if we could use tourism money to promote it. I would think we would. we give it to other organizations, but I don't think there's anything that specifically exempts the city from being able to use that money for promotion. Be that as it may, I'd like to see that other communities make the thing a big thing and draw people into Mexico.
Again, who's organizing it this year?
This year's event organizer is, I believe it's the Little Dixie Fire Department's Auxiliary or something. Cadets. Okay.
All right.
And this is a legal question, I guess, but if the city sponsors it and then you invite religious organizations to participate, does that open the city up to all get into this, taxpayer dollars funding religious activities type stuff? Are we caught up in that?
Yes, the short answer is yes.
If it's a public event, sponsored by a public entity with tax dollars, then you're going to have a criteria for determining the float and what the float can say or not say. And so you're going to have freedom of speech, freedom of religion. And you won't be able to say, discriminate based on that. Okay, so that's the... Whereas if you have a private organization sponsoring the parade, they can make those determinations. They can call it a Christmas parade or a holiday parade. So you get into that kind of thing. So I'm sure we could find, if you're interested in that, I'm sure we could find some criteria that are used. I know Columbia has a Christmas parade. I know there are some other communities that have them. We could look into that and see, but it's a public event sponsored by a public organization on a public street. So you have all those concerns that you have to take into consideration. Want to do it? We can figure out a way to do it, make sure it's done the right way, make sure it is proper.
I'm not opposed to that, by that question, but I do recognize that we...
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sitting back there thinking to myself, okay, because it's like, let me give you an example. It's an extreme one, but think of the adopt a highway cleanup sign. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you've got the same kind of problem. Now, you could have some legitimate things. For instance, you could say, we will only have so many floats. They have to be recognized, they have to have a sponsor. You could say the float could or could not have so many people on it. You could say they could hand out candy but not throw it. Things like that. You have to have some regulations. But I'm all for it. I think it's great, but we'd have to work within the parameters because we are a public entity and we represent all the citizens, not just a particular group of citizens for an event like that.
Well, Council, I've known you for over 40 years. You've been a damn Grinch ever since I've known you.
Of what?
You've been a Grinch.
I'm not trying to be a Grinch.
I know, I'm just kidding.
And, it would be, we could think our way through it. We could get it to something that everybody would be very happy with. Just realize it would be a public event. Okay.
Now, you're saying that if the Chamber of Commerce sponsored it,
it's a private event.
It's a private event.
That's right.
They could say anything they want to, right? Because the separation's not there.
Right. As long as it's not, you don't want something that's going to create a lot of discord, a lot of disruption that would cause a public safety problem. We don't have those in Mexico, Missouri. But it's,
I understand. Well, do with it as you see fit. I just raised the issue. If it can't be done, it can't be done. If it can be done, it
Wait,
can be a great thing.
if everybody wants to do it, we can find out how other people do it. We can have some legal parameters. For instance, right now, there's some controversy, would you allow political parties to sponsor a float in the Christmas parade? That's just to give you an example.
And we still would require whoever is in the parade to have their own insurance. Our insurance is not going to let us just insure anybody that wants to do the parade.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying. But that's done at the time of writing them in and organizing it, and putting that out as a written rule.
But you're probably going to limit some people in their ability to insure something of this sort. When it's if it was a church they could do it, but if it's a private individual that wants to put a float in there, he's not going to be able to buy that insurance. We run into that daily in golf cars.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
It's tough.
And, to give you an example, in the Miss Missouri Parade in the summer, we sponsor that. We get a permit to have it. We insure it. We make sure we have a licensed driver. It's all motor vehicles. It's not a tractor pulling a float or, little kids hanging off a float or something like that. So that's what you got to look for. So, but if you want to do it,
But the city did insure the car, correct?
Excuse me?
The city did insure the car for...
If I wanted to have...
No, I'm not being for Miss Missouri pageant.
No. We have our own, insurance, we have our own policy, we enforce our own rules, and we even have people opening the doors, escorting people out. We have our own rules that we enforce. Yeah. So I think the thing you need to really think about is this. Are they having equestrians in the Christmas parade this year?
Not allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Insurance-wise, equestrians, things like that are a real problem because the horse can get screwed.
Well, it was a thought, and I think that we can clean this thing up and do it right.
We can.
I'd like to see it. I'm one person, but I think you find many out there because people in this community are hungry for this sort of thing, it seems to me.
Well, I think all you got to do is look at how many people come for the Santa train, and
Yeah. You stand in the cold for 2 hours.
Stand in the cold for 2 hours to, So, no, you're right.
Well, thank you, Luke.
Do we need to make a motion to look into it, do it back to the council later?
No.
Bruce, can I...
Just make a study session.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, moving on. Public comment. You're it, kid. No comment? Seeing no one approaching the podium, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Grinch.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Nichols,
Yes.
Councilman Miller.
Yes.
Councilman West,
Yes.